Coming up, we'll be going over how WWE may have just spoiled their Money in the Bank winner, as well as Scarlett's big reveal and Liv Morgan. Starting off with the Money in the Bank pay-per-view event, the women's Money in the Bank match will be just like the men's match this year and take place in the WWE headquarters. There's rumors that these Money in the Bank matches will be going on throughout the whole night, and that the WWE will constantly be checking in at the WWE headquarters and seeing what's going on while they have live matches at the Performance Center throughout the night. So it doesn't look like the Money in the Bank matches will have their own dedicated time in the show. We'll just be checking in with the match back and forth throughout the whole night. What's more interesting is that WWE might have just leaked their own winner, at least for the women's Money in the Bank contract. During the promotional video for the upcoming Raw, WWE announced Becky Lynch's WWE return and said that she will confront the Money in the Bank winner. So doesn't that tell us that the Money in the Bank winner will be a Raw superstar? That's what many fans understood and took it as a partial spoiler. But of course, we won't know until we see the winner of the match. But according to that promo, it looks like it will be a Raw superstar that wins and that Becky Lynch will confront. So that sums us down to Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and Asuka as our potential winners. Asuka is of course involved in a tag team, but winning the match is still possible for her. Nia Jax is fresh off her return and is dominating the roster. So, it will be a great idea to have her walking around as the Money in the Bank contract holder. Then you have Shayna Baszler, who is the more obvious choice. Shayna has some unfinished business with Becky Lynch, especially after that WrestleMania loss to Becky Lynch that Shayna definitely considers a fluke. So Shayna is not done with Becky Lynch and likely still has her eyes set on that Raw Women's Championship, and winning the Money in the Bank could really help Shayna to dethrone Becky Lynch as Raw Women's Champion. So that was a strange promo by WWE, because would Becky Lynch confront the winner of the Money in the Bank if they are on SmackDown? If the winner was on SmackDown, then they'll be focusing on cashing in on the SmackDown Women's Champion. So it doesn't make sense that Becky Lynch would confront them from a whole different brand. So the winner will likely be one of the three from Raw. Those three Raw competitors all have a great case to be Mrs. Money in the Bank, so it is really hard to pick a winner between the three of them. As fans also noted for a while, Becky Lynch has defeated mostly the entire roster over the past year, so she's running out of possible challengers. One of those three Raw competitors that Becky Lynch hasn't defeated yet is Nia Jax. Nia Jax versus Becky Lynch actually sounds like an interesting matchup because they have a lot of history, but don't have that much time in the ring together. We all remember when Nia Jax knocked Becky Lynch out with her right hand, and Becky never got her revenge on Nia for that night. So the backstory is already there for Nia Jax versus Becky Lynch, and it's a fresh new competitor that Becky hasn't defeated yet. So that will make for quite the interesting matchup. This is a great time to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A large percentage of our viewers are not even subscribed to the channel, so take a second to click that subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. Let's get back into it. Next, we have the update on Liv Morgan. It looks like Liv Morgan is back on track of becoming a future women's champion. Liv Morgan is most definitely one of the most improved superstars on the roster. She had a great series of matches over the past few weeks and really put herself on the map once again after taking Charlotte Flair to the limit in their match. Sure, Charlotte Flair still won the match, but Liv Morgan still had such a great showing and really stood her own in the ring with Charlotte. Remember that a match against Charlotte is what started Liv Morgan's entire transition to a new attitude and character. Charlotte Flair completely wiped the floor with Liv Morgan in the summer of 2019 on SmackDown. But now, fast forward a year later, and Liv Morgan is kicking out of big spots and really making Charlotte Flair work for the win. So even in a losing effort, Liv Morgan still sent herself in the right positive direction with that performance. We saw during her promo from a few weeks ago that Liv still isn't sure who she is and still learning about herself, but her future seems to be bright right now. The soon-to-be 26-year-old superstar has been in the WWE since she was 20 years old, so already has 6 years of experience and will only get better over time. Liv Morgan continues to wow fans and win them over. It's no doubt that we're looking at a future women's champion in the making. It's great to see Liv Morgan going in the right direction again. She just has to win some of those big matches, such as the one against Charlotte, and make some noise in the title picture. Next, we had a huge debut on NXT of Scarlett and Karrion Kross. Scarlett and Karrion Kross were huge free agents that WWE was able to sign. We've been hyping them up for a long time. Some even thought that they would be the ones behind the Smackdown hacker, but that wasn't the case, and no one really cared to hear about them a few weeks ago. But now that you've actually seen their debut, you may understand the hype now. Scarlett and Karrion, even without the live crowd, had one of the most iconic entrances and gave a lot of fans chills. We had high expectations for Karrion and Scarlett, but they really exceeded everyone's expectations with that amazing debut. Everything from the entrance, to the theme song, to Scarlett, to Karrion's overall ring presence, everything feels so perfect, and he looks like he's got main event written all over him. Another concern that fans were talking about was Scarlett's lip syncing during the entrance. Some fans wondered if that was someone else's voice, but Scarlett did confirm on Twitter that it was her own voice that we hear during Karrion's entrance. But everything about that debut was spot on perfect, and that's how you introduce a real star. Even the commentary from Tom Phillips during that match was also perfect, and even added depth to the debut. So for everyone that didn't care much about Scarlett and Karrion Kross, hopefully that Impact debut really got you invested in them. These two are already on their way of taking over NXT. You gotta remember that Karrion and Scarlett were also seen in the card just watching the Gargano vs. Ciampa match from several weeks ago, so they already have their eyes on the main stars of NXT. So Scarlett and Karrion Kross will make a heavy impact on NXT for sure. But the only concern for them will be when they go to the main roster. The main roster usually puts a stop to any NXT talent that has a lot of momentum and hype, and basically turns them into nothing. So before the main roster ruins Karrion Kross and Scarlett, let's hope they can make some noise in NXT and even win the NXT Championship. So what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, so you won't miss any new videos, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.